This is the seventh lecture of Maharshi Dayanand Memorial Lecture Series, organized by Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati Chair, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. And today's main speaker is Dr. Comal Radhakeesoon. He is from Mauritius, and the topic is management of COVID 19 through divine therapies. Let me inform that Dr. Komal Radhakeesoon is the recipient of the third highest civilian award of Mauritian government, and he is a great physician and Ayurvedic scholar. So I invite Dr. Radhakeesoon to start his presentation regarding COVID. Dr.
Thank you
Radhakeesoon.
very yes. Thank you very much. First of all, we'll try to see what is epidemic as per Ayurveda. Epidemic are caused when air plus water plus the place and the time got corrupted. It happens that we have been observing since the last 10-15 years. It happens that in winter it becomes extreme cold, or in summer there is extreme hot. The heat is there, extreme heat. It happens that during summer we get a temperature that is like winter. The temperature suddenly drop down, and in winter the summer-like temperature occurs. These extreme climatic situation creates deep disturbance in human being. The cause of epidemic, as per Ayurveda, there is an excessive anger, greed, attachment, ego, false pride that develops in man. This creates a vicious circle. Human beings start accumulating beyond his capacity. He utilizes all sorts of gimmicks to achieve his goals. He even takes the share of the poor. The poor, in return, will envy the rich, and negative vibration increases. All, the, all these contribute in wrong dietary habits, and ultimately disease is born that quickly engulf many persons to death. Human beings have quit righteous paths and embark in evil leading track. The effects are that air, water, earth become denatured from their basic characteristics, which we all have termed pollution and in recent past climate change. The effects are also noted in the diet that man is consuming right now. The spread of pollution gives sustainable grounds for fungus, bacteria, and virus to grow. The effects of epidemic as described by Ayurveda, all the epidemics have effects on our body-mind matrix. There is a sharp disequilibrium in our mental frame. There is a dive in our immune mechanism. These two conditions make human beings fall easy prey to illness. The aggressive nature of microorganisms trigger conditions that result in the genesis of contagious disease, which very quickly destroy the place. It starts from a focal point. One family is spread to the neighboring area, to the next street, to the ward, village, town, district, the whole country, and finally it ends up in a global affliction. Thus, our daily routine is disorganized. What we have been observing so far in this current pandemic of COVID-19. Epidemic in history. In each yug, that is era, human being has faced epidemics. And these mass contagious diseases have been mostly caused by wrongdoing of man, which have been the result of pragya aprad. Pragya aprad is the misconduct of intellectual parameters as cause of disease. Whenever an individual loses his steadiness of mind, memory, intellect, control of mind, and wisdom, the individual commits pragya aprad. It is very strange that this disease has been termed COVID-19. The word COVID in Sanskrit means expert, intellectual, which is an indication of the mind brain. That is where our mind has affected. You can see that during this COVID pandemic, the first sign symptom of the disease is fear. And fear is a symptom that is connected directly to our mind. Hence, it is a divine wish to make all of us reflect and think where we have done pragya prad, whether knowingly or inadvertently. Pragya Prad makes man lose its divine traits of compassion. In Ayurveda, normally whenever there is a disease or any epidemics, there are three lines of treatment that we adopt. The three lines of treatment that we adopt, first one is Dev Parashai Chikitsa, which is divine therapy. The second one is Yukti Parashai Chikitsa, rational therapy, where we are going to use medicinal herbs, plants, herbal minerals to cure, to eliminate the disease. And the last method, line of treatment to be adopted is Sattva Chikitsa, that is psychotherapy. Sattva means man, how to, because in all disease, our psychic, our mental frame goes down, and we have to take care our mental frame after any disease, which unfortunately now the whole world is realizing that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is an increase in mental stress among human beings. Now, regarding the line of treatment in epidemic, today's lecture is basically based on the Dev Prasha Chikitsa, that is the divine therapy. Well, divine therapy has always been favored as the first line of treatment in epidemic by Ayurvedic physician of the past of great renown, that is Charak Susrut Vabhad. Why? Because, as I mentioned earlier, the cause of epidemic is man. And man, whenever it disturbs the nature, it creates havoc. This epidemic is affecting only human beings. No other parts of the ecosystem is affected. So this epidemic has been created in a sort by disturbance, by aggression that man has made into nature. And how we are going to uh, tackle this problem, one of the best, we can say, proven method is by Deva Prashay Chikitsa. Divine therapy consists of mantra jap, havan, yaj, speaking truth, observe personal hygiene, celibacy, give alms, be compassionate, observe and follow the Apta Vachan of our sage and seer, that is to follow the rules, the knowledge, the wisdom that Vedas give us, follow the guidelines of daily and seasonal routine to give treatment as per sign and symptoms. If you can see that all these all these uh, different guidelines of divine therapy, none of them are being observed during the past 10, 15 years. Normally, speaking truth is no longer a method now. Daily, we have aggression from the media, which speak things that are not really true. Observance of personal hygiene and celibacy. This COVID-19 has again drawn our attention, has focalized us to observe personal hygiene, washing our hands, keep us our clean, keep social distancing, keep physical distancing, wearing of masks, giving arms and compassionate. Here also, this COVID-19 has make man again realize that he has to help the poor, the person in needy, and also to follow the guidelines that have been prescribed by our sage and seer, by our rishis, mainly in the Vedas, and following the guidelines of daily and seasonal routine. As per Ayurveda, the basic line of health, the fundamental cause of a good health is that you observe your daily routine and your seasonal routine. At what time you should get up, at what time you should sleep, what you have to eat, how to eat. All these are very important. And also to give treatment as per sign and symptoms. Now, when we come to this current pandemic of COVID-19, we have all observed that during the epidemic, man has been under a constant attack of sorrows because this disease has created more fear in human being. Fear is a component that decreases our immunity. So, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, has termed the condition of sorrows as klesh, which are five in numbers. First is avidya, ignorance, lack of awareness, illusion. How we had ignorance? We are completely carefree. We didn't observe personal hygiene. We forget basic routine, daily routine, basic observance of our dietary rule. We had asmita, that is egoism. People were becoming too much proudy. They were no longer following, they were no longer humble. Humility was a component, was an item that was lacking. Normally, in educated people, that people who have gone through university degrees, who were working, were earning a lot, started having certain ego, certain complex of superiority. Attraction, likening, that is to material, excessive collection of material items, dvesh, hatred, dislike, repulsion. That is, we started hating our own people. Man started hating his own family members. Clash in family, starting hating our parents, our kins, our brothers and sisters. These create negative vibration in our own body and ultimately lead to a decrease in our immunity. Abhinivesh. This is the main cause of the disease, clinging to life. That people started thinking that due to the advance in medical science, they were going to live for eternal, and they were trying to cling on life through material gain and fear of death. And this pandemic has created what we call fear of death. The rapid death that result in this pandemic in the first wave, second wave, or even third wave make one become fearful of death. And to remove this fear, sorrow complex, the only alternative is divine therapy. This epidemic, we have showered all our energy in finding cure through medicinal plant. We have ignored the line of treatment of divine therapy. Importance of divine therapies. It is very unfortunate that we have forgotten that human body is made of four sets of matter, which are physical body, five senses, mind, and soul. The last two have been ignored, whereas in fact it is the mind and the soul, a very negative soul which will instigate the mind to become negative, have been the conceptor and designer of this COVID disease. As we say in Hindi, dushta atma. If someone has a certain amount of negativity that he has acquired since his past birth and continue to do action and deeds that fortifies this negativity in soul, definitely that soul will give the mind certain indications, certain signals to create something which is evil. To, to counteract this pragya aparad, divine therapy is the only alternative. Now we have, as we see, saw mantra jap. Mantra, vibratory aspect of nature. The continuous reciting of Vedic mantra dispel ignorance. Vidya Kanash and is done through the Vedas because the Vedas are the bundle, the complete set of true knowledge of Satya Vidya. That is related to direct divine aspect, and this is the true Vidya that we are lacking. We have fallen on the track of a what we call a pseudo education, a pseudo Vidya that is completely a Satya, and this has created ignorance in ourselves. Now, the word mantra, which literally means sound vibration or force which liberates the mind from bondage, mantra used in that are found in Vedas and used in yoga are derived from the 50 Sanskrit alphabet, which corresponds to different specific energy centers in our psychic body. The effect of this vibration have a direct effect on our physical and mental function. As the mind controls the body and everything that we think through the mind, yogascha chit vritti nirodha. And if our mind is able to control everything, our diet, our way of living, the way we take food is also controlled by our mind. The effects of mantra, the vibration are energy that are capable to restore the normality of any organ. The last year we have experienced a lot of research done in this context in yoga centers and even by certain exponents of Ayurveda. Whenever they have seen in researchers, whenever the last letter of Om produces a humming sound which vibrates the cranial area, its repeated sounding help to alleviate chronic headache and sinusitis. So it clears the whole nasal pathways. So you see reciting of Om because this disease is connected to our respiratory system, and the first gateway to respiratory system is our nostrils. So here, if it is cleared, the sinuses is clear, so your energy, your immunity is sound. And the mental effects have two aspects, namely impurities, mal, and oscillation vikshep. The impurities, that is mal, which quantifies the sum total of negative impression deep in mind, past problems of the mental plane, especially the emotional dimension, just like love, joy, security, power, and self-esteem. The month activate these parts of our mental setup and appropriate remedial action are taken. The Vikshape, which is the oscillation, destruction of mind in terms of fears, desire, disappointment, makes the mind restless. Mantras help to quieten, bring tranquility and peace to the mind. Mantras can also awaken our psychic potential. Certain mantras have been helpful since we can say since human beings have been walking on this planet. One is Gayatri mantra, which is Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. The meaning, we meditate upon the adorable form of spiritual light which dispels the darkness of sin from mind. May the illuminate our intellect and thus discard ignorance. It brings a cooling effect. It has been observed by many practitioners who do mantra jap of Gayatri mantra that after doing that, they feel the body light and they feel a sensation of coolness in the body. And this mantra helps to discard the ignorance. If we have belief, we understand the meaning of this mantra, this definitely helps us to keep away from evil actions. The Mahamrityunjay mantra from Yajurved, which is Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhit Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandhanat Mrityor Mokshe Matmitat. This will help to liberate ourselves from egoism, asmita, attraction, rag, and hatred, dvesh. It will also help having positive thinking, and thus our health and life will be long life. That is Shatayu. This reciting of these mantras have been observed by many practitioners that it brings what we call a heating effect. Many research have been carried out where they have observed that reciting this mantra continuously for many days will create a sense of sweating in the facial area that helps to bring glow of the face after this mantra jap. We have certain other mantra that helps to stabilize our mind. And in these days, and the whole world is under the grip of abhinivesh, clinging to life, fear of death. This status is very detrimental for health. How to get rid the sorrow which slowly but surely kills us can be resolved. Normally, fear of death will definitely bring a what we call decline in our immune system. Fear has a direct connection with our man consciousness, and our man is fickle, it is volatile, it goes here and there, and yoga is the only way to control the inclination of our consciousness. And believe me, if you do uh, daily reciting of the Shiva Sankalp Sukta of Yajurveda, chapter 34, mantra 1 to 6, who has who can be our guide to stabilize our mind, you're going to have a stress-free life and your immunity will go up and you're not going to be fearful. And other very beautiful mantra that has been described in Atharvaved uh, regarding fear, how we can go out from fear, is the mantra which is about Abhayam, Nakatakshapayam Dhyava Prithvi Ubhaye. And that mantra helps to motivate our mind to be fearless from all direction, universe, sky, and earth. and they also make us fearless from our friends and foes, from all living and non-living objects, from day, night, and the whole world is our friend. So this make us have a positive, what we call a very positive attitude of our mind, and we will not fear in any circumstances, because if human, because human being, we are a such entity that with the use of our mind we can control everything. We can control ourselves, we can control the world, we can control nature, everything. But unfortunately, during the past rapid expansion in the materialistic world and the world of technology, we have lost the sense that we have first of all to have control on our mind. Otherwise, we're going to go in a very evil track, which we have unfortunately embarked, and the result is in front of us. The second aspect of uh, divine therapy is to perform Hawan and Yaj. And the performance of Hawan and Yaj is very scientific. It has been proven since a long, where we know that there are certain chemicals like formaldehyde that comes when we do Yaj, and it brings purification to the place where we're doing Yaj. But let's see the different components that we have in Yaj. You can see we have a Havan Kun and Agni in the diagram. You have Havan Kun and Agni. Then you have Ghee, you have Samagri, and you have Samidha. So these are the five main components that are used in doing a Havan or Yaj. Now let's see the effects of these different components. And the Havan Kun can be of copper, clay, or iron. The Agni, now whenever we're going to invoke Agni, is done after reciting certain specific mantra. The effect of Agni on us is that it acts as a heating agent to burn the Samidha, Samagri, and Ghee, thus creating an effect of sudation, that is induced sweating. This process cleans our body by opening the skin pores, thus expelling the internal toxic materials outside. The detoxification of our body increases our immunity and provides health and wellness. This is the first part. This is concerning the Agni. Now, after Agni, we come to the, sorry, we come to lineage. The importance of Samhita. Then we have Samhita are very important in Havanyas. The choice has been very carefully described in Sanskar Vidhi, and as per season and situation, Samhita is small piece of wood around 18 to 24 or 24 centimeter, depending the size of the kun. And normally Samhita are selected from the following plants, because these plants are available throughout the world in many places. We have mango, camphor, cinnamon, arjun, chandan, camphor prevent the cure of cough, asthma, upper tract respiratory infection, URTI. Cinnamon is antitubercular, cures cough and asthma. You can see all these samidhas will have a direct effect on our lungs, respiratory system. Arjun clears obstruction in heart, give lungs strength and cure cough, asthma, and URTI. Chandan cures long-standing cough and purifies the lungs. And Amla, as you know, cures cough and boosts immunity. So all these samidhas that we are using are immunity boosters and helps to clear the nasal pathways as well as our respiratory system. So now you can see these are certain samidhas that we use. We can see mango, camphor, cinnamon, arjun, chandan, and amla. Then after samidha, we have samagri. Samagri, these are dry leaves, bark, fruits, flowers, twigs, seeds, resin, which have an aroma. The burning of these elements in Havan Kun, where the temperature is about 400 Celsius, depending on which caste and size of kun that we are using. Releases, we have seen formaldehyde, but along with that, we have aromatic oil, because all these parts of samagri have an aroma and have a very pleasant smell. And this aroma have essential oil in that. They have aromatic oil or essential oil. And when these aromatic oils are released as fine vapor. They condense in in the air, and this vapor condense in the form of minute aromatic droplet that are inhaled through our nostrils. These aromatic molecules also travel in the atmosphere, which helps to purify the environment. The aromatic molecules, when they reach the lungs, are mixed with the blood and are carried to the each cell's tissues and organs, which induce detoxification and increment in immunity. The another effects of these molecules that they act directly on the nari, three naris are Sushumna, Pingala, and Ira, which can be correlated to the autonomic nervous system and its two components called parasympathetic and sympathetic system. Aromatic molecules, essential oil, are able to bring an equilibrium and stability in the nares, thus give health and wellness. Aromatic molecules also stabilizes the three doshas, the Vat, Pitta, Kapha complex, the psychosomatic energy that we have in our system, and they stabilize that because they are cleansing molecules. They help in the cleansing of our system. Certain, now let's see the summary that we have. These are a series of summary which I have shortlisted, and you can see from that there's Gogo, cinnamon, elaichi, neem, arjun, etc., etc. Bitter leaf, camphor, amla, dry resin, jaifar, etc. But you can see the effect. The part used there. In Google, we use resin, cinnamon bark and leaves, elaichi seeds, neem leaves, arjun bark and leaves, tulsi leaves and twigs, and all the different parts that can be used as samagri. And the effect, you can see that most of these samagri have a direct effect on the respiratory system. They cleanse, it fortifies, they increase the immunity, the whole body, plus they boost our system, respiratory system, that is our lungs, our total, the nasopharynx that we have, the ear nose complex that we have, the lungs, all these are cleared and fortified by these samagris. So you see the importance, the divine therapy that was set by our rishis in the Ved are how much scientific, and they have devised it to boost our immunity, uh, so that we can be protected from diseases. Now, some samagri you can see that Google resins, it is here, elaichi, dry resin, kishmish, giloy, cloves, cinnamon, haldi, and nutmeg. Especially nutmeg has a very amazing effect if you add it in your samagri for this COVID-19. Nutmeg and cinnamon are two components that give amazing effect in purification and fortification of your lungs system. Then we have the last component is ghee, and ghee, as you know, should be melted. When you do yet, ghee should be melted. The effect of pure cow ghee is beyond expectation. Okay, the ghee used in yet must be melted and be in liquid state. Ghee is resistant to spoilage by microorganisms and chemical action. It is most ideal vehicle to transport medicinal plants to target organ due to lipophilic action. It is able to penetrate cellular level rapidly, reaches mitochondria, microsome, and nuclear membrane. As you know, ghee has this characteristic that it very quickly mix with any medicinal plants and take the uh, the characteristic of that medicinal plants, imbibe in it, and ghee, as you can see, has the potentiality to enter in each and every cellular stage of our body. So it is a very favorable component to, vehicle to carry any medicinal plant to the target organ and to reach our aim of curing and preventing any disease. The effect of ghee is resilient, that is rejuvenating, improves maintain vision, improve digestion, stimulates appetite, glow and radiance of the skin, increase memory, fortifies immunity, increase longevity, increase stamina, corrects impotency, and improve voice. So before I end, uh, one thing we must we have other components that we have to in divine therapy. We have to speak truth, observe personal hygiene and celibacy, give alms, be compassionate, observe and follow the Apta Vachan of our sages and seer, follow the guidelines of daily and seasonal routine. And as explained before, this is we have to follow daily seasonal guidelines prescribed in Ayurveda as well as Achara Rasayan. How to behave, as you know, all these problems of corruption that we have throughout the world, corruption, cheating, and deceit, are due to the wrong dietary habit and the non-observance of Achara Rasayan that has been prescribed in our scriptures. Mainly the Vedas have already set a very clear cut guidelines how we should maintain our life with harmony in nature. That is, harmonize ourselves with nature. And in conclusion, one should not only focus on medicinal plants aspect in the treatment of any epidemics. The cure of mind and cleansing of soul shall be form an integral part in the treatment package delivered to the to the sick individuals. What the effect of if we're going to do what we call continuously going to have regularly daily we do Hawan and Yaj Hawan in our house at our place we do Agnihotra. This has a effect just like vaccination. So what happens? Our immunity system, our aura, increases, and our aura is able to fight any micro organism that going to attack us. That makes us we are entered in a bubble, a protection, a shield is around our body from head to toe, and these shields prevent the bacteria to attack us. And with this, with this practice, if we do it regularly and systematically, as prescribed in our scriptures, definitely we are going to have a good control of the uh, epidemic and the fear and all this problem that we are facing right now will be of not the astronomical size that we are facing, but will be very little, and definitely human beings will be out of it. In my opinion, the most important killing factor in this epidemic is fear. A fear has been created throughout the world through media about we have been focalizing on the number of deaths, the number of casualties, the number of complexities that a disease is bringing. But we have not been focusing about how many people have been cured, how many people have survived this epidemic, and how many people have been courageously fight this epidemic with the positive mind. So I hope that where this pandemic is doing its havoc, we as human beings, we should have faith in divine therapy and we should be positive. Positiveness will increase our immunity and definitely we'll be able to combat this pandemic. With that, I conclude. I hand over to Ravi Prakash Reji. Thank you. Ravi Prakash ji. Ravi Prakash ji.
Yes, yes. I think Radhakeesoon ji, uh, it was a very nice lecture, and he has covered all aspects regarding management of COVID-19, and right from the mantras, the yajna, samhita, and the herbs. As I told earlier, he is a very uh, great scholar who did his uh, degree in Ayurveda from India itself, and now he has contributed a lot in Ayurveda in his country, and that is why he was awarded the third highest civilian prize by the award by the Mauritian government for his services in Ayurveda and social services. And Dr. Radhakeesoon is also associated with Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati Chair. He is one of the member of its advisory committee. So he has always been very helpful in giving suggestions and so many things. And this lecture, in fact, we could not hold this lecture in a very proper way, because I was also not in a some I can say that I was also having some COVID problem, but still this lecture has gone through. And now I invite the persons from audience, if they want to have certain questions, they can raise hands. They can press this button, raise hand. Then I will invite you to ask questions, and Dr. Komal Radhakeesoon, he will answer their questions. So anybody who wants to have any question, I think Professor CP Trivedi, he wants to ask a question. So I invite Professor CP Trivedi just to say
थैंक यू
something that he wants.
डॉक्टर थैंक यू डॉक्टर राधा कृष्णन। आपने बहुत अच्छा बोला है कि ये डिवाइन देहिक देविक भौतिक तापा रामराज का कहूँ न वापा, इसके अंतर्गत ये जो मनुष्य शरीर है ये तीन इमोर्टल का कॉम्बिनेशन है।
Ji, yes, yes, you know, actually,
तीन
no, not now. I will invite you later.
तीन इमोर्टल का कॉम्बिनेशन
I
है।
will contact you. I will contact you. Okay.
और ये
Yeah.
immortal underlying space,
Right.
important mass to elementary particles, space, DNA with phonon wave, second, and chemical energy. तो देहिक भौतिक तापा। तो यहाँ डीएनए को जो है कोविड-19 अटैक करता है, इसको कैसे रिपेयर किया जा सकता है? ये डीएनए से रिलेटेड डिसीज है।
Radhakeesoon ji.
हाँ,
जी
डीएनए से रिलेटेड कैसे है? देखिए, डीएनए से रिलेटेड ये है कि जब आप whenever you're going to have this divine therapies, they will have a vibratory effect on the whole system. That is, each part of, as I said, that it will affect the three naris that you have, Ingla, Sushumna, and this Pingla, Ira, and Sushumna. These three naris are energy channels, and whenever there is any cleansing that happens through when we do pranayam, and this pranayam is not only the breathing techniques, it activates the nervous system also. The whole system is energized, and whenever the whole system is energized, what we're going to have, that it will have an effect on our DNAs. Why? Because cell our cell daily have what we call the mitosis occurring in our cells, cell division, and whenever the cells that are dead are not okay, will be expelled through this process, and the cells that are normally coming out, that is through mitosis, that is cell division. This cell division, here the DNA picture will enter, and when this DNA picture enters in our cell division, what will happen? We'll have cells that are fortified, are more immune sensitivity, and will have directly been able to protect ourselves. So this process, what has happened, that it will, how it affects the DNA, it will affect at the cellular level, that is at the level of cell division when there is mitosis. And I explain again that when we are going to have the by the cleansing detoxification, the cleansing process, the cells that will be coming in, new cells will have different messages that they have to be more protected, they'll be more immune, and they will be having all the messages to be able to protect themselves.
So anybody else wants to ask any question? He can raise hand. So I think
Anyone?
nobody wants nobody has any query regarding
Yes.
this lecture. But today with us we are having Professor Bhupendra Malhotra. He is a professor of music and a very high profile musician. So I would like to invite Professor Bhupendra Malhotra just to sing a devotional song at this hour when the whole humanity is confronting with this COVID-19 problem. I invite Dr. Bhupendra Malhotra. Bhupendra ji, are you hearing me? Hello. Hello. I think he's not able to hear me or there is some problem. In fact, today here in Delhi and in our areas, it's raining heavily. So I would like to conclude this session and I would like to thank Dr. Komal Radhakeesoon ji for his brilliant presentation regarding various therapies used that can be used to overpower this pandemic COVID-19. And I also thank all our members of this audience who gave their precious time to uh, attend this lecture. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. Again, I thank Dr. Komal Chandra Radhakeesoon ji.
Thank you.